بسم الله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Lead Counsel, Assistant Counsel, viewers and listeners, members of the press, good morning. Welcome back again for our daily proceedings of this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters. Without further ado, I have the honor to yield the floor to Madam Chair for our next item on our today's agenda. Madam Chair, over to you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I'll call on Honorable Silla to lead us in Muslim prayers and Honorable Joyner to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين حمدا كنت الذين يلك من حمد جلال ما أجمع سمت بمجل ما السلام ما أندر على الرسول ينتج بطل الإسلام في الإسلام أي سوالي أبي محمد وصابي أو صابام وبعد بقنا لفحاسي نكي وسيدين كان نافع تنبو أمجرين جميلة تنبو رفع سوفيان كي أوامد دلو ورحمن كي برو يمالي وسنة الرسول أكسون سين ربسل برهان كي برم له وأنها نكوه جدي جلي بطل مران ديني ولا أنها توه جدي هل لهم سنة بنيني وأنها نكوه جدي تنجدنا مسلمين لران كسبرا سالكين ويسوبيا مسكال الله سوبيا ويلا يا مكمونها لبلين بيتر أمرين تنو سجارة كي لهم يبان دورمة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق النازل الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومدار العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, in the name of Jesus, we appreciate you this morning for your steadfast love that never ceases and your mercies that are new every day. Thank you, Lord, that you continually load us with benefits and blessings and gifts without repentance. What a mighty God we serve, and what a friend and a Savior we have in you. In you we have hope, we believe, we stand strong, and we are always assured of good. We cannot walk in fear of our future because you are our future. You redefine our lives and fit in your purpose and plans for us. Thank you, precious Father, who is always like, move in our lives today. We are confident that our results and answers are assured today by the Spirit. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, Mr. Witness. Welcome back for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters. I want to remind you again that you are still on the oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair. Over to you.
Good morning, Mayor Bensuda.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioners and everyone present. Mr. Witness, just one question that I have as a continuation from where we stopped. But before I proceed, do you have any documents that you want to submit?
Yes, I have some documents. I have a document showing the interest versus the principal. I have a document showing the payments from the bank statements. And there's a slight clarification there. I don't know if I can make it now or after the submission. There's a slight clarification about the fixed deposit. I don't know if I should make it now or after the
No, let us have the documents
documents
submitted
first.
and you can make whatever.
Yes, I believe those are the documents.
We apply.
Sorry, there's one more on the customization
Correct.
customization of the trucks.
We apply to the following documents. The first is a letter from Quantum Net Company Limited, addressed to the Lord Mayor, Canifin Municipal Council. Says request for clarification. This is in relation to the customization of the trucks. It is signed by Mohamed Jah, the managing director. The second is invoice Express Motors Quantum Net Company Limited, invoice number 0000001. We also have the delivery note from Express Motors. Attached to it, there are a series of documents with respect to the waste collection trucks repayment reconciliation. We have the Quantum Net account details and the statement of account from the 17th of January 2019. To the 14th of January 2021. And attached to it as well is an application by Quantum Net Company Limited, addressed to the Commissioner General, Gambia Revenue Authority. The application is for direct delivery of 28 vehicles. Signed by Mohamed Jah, Managing Director. We also have evidence of a KMC account transactions from 1st of June 2018 to 15th of June 2022. These documents to be admitted into evidence and marked as exhibits. Separate.
A delivery note addressed to the CEO from QuantumNet Espas Motors dated the 23rd of April 2021. Attached to this delivery note is the KMC waste collection trucks repayment reconciliation covering the period 29 July 2019 to 25th of March 2021, which gave a loan balance outstanding of 70,024,878.6.53. And attached also is the document that is the description of payments on the said investment account from the various wards. Total credited to the ballot account from 11th of July 2019 to 12th of February 2020 is a sum total of 90,472,244.14. Also, there is the KMC West Collection Trucks repayment reconciliation as of 11th of March 2021. And the loan balance outstanding is 75,424,878.53. A Quantum Net Limited account details at Ajit Bank provided the account number and the BBAN number. The account covered the period 17th of January 2019 to 11th of March 2021 with available balance being negative 59,473 1,419.22. Also attached is an Ajit Bank statement from the 1st of January 2019 to the 3rd of March 2021. And the available balance is 0. There is also attached an application for direct delivery of 28 vehicles. This is addressed to the Commissioner General Gambia Revenue Authority, and it is signed by Mohamed Jah, Managing Director for Quantum Net Company Limited. There's also the Carnival Municipal Council account transactions from 1st of June 2018 to 15th of June 2022. Maven Suda, please take a look at this document. I think this might be incorrect. because the account transaction is showing that it covers from the period 1st of June 2018 to 15th of June 2022. And the start date in this document is 15th of March 2019. And the end date, according to this document, is 1st of June 2022. Yes. Did you see that?
Which page?
That page. If you look at it, it is saying the start date is sometime in 2018, end date is sometime in 2022. But if you look at the transactions, um, it's different.
Account transactions from 1st June 2018 to 15th June 2022.
Yes, and if you look at the start date of the transaction on that page, it's different.
I think the person who printed the statement, I think this is from the software.
Yeah.
That's the block they use. But the first.
So I just wanted you to note that so that you can get us the correct documents pursuant to the start and the finish date. Based on, yes.
So I think he was just printing the vote.
All right.
The vote he was printing,
Yeah.
he inputted these dates.
Okay.
But when you look at it, the first transaction is from 15 March 2019.
Yeah.
It's just what he inputted in the system to search. He was searching for the transactions.
Okay.
But you can see the first transaction is 15 March 2019.
That's the start date of the transaction.
Yes.
Yes.
So he was just printing from.
Why I'm confused is that because the document is indicating that it's a transaction from 2018.
Yeah, so that's what he inputted to search.
Okay.
He was searching all transactions in this period.
Okay.
But you can see.
And that's what he has.
Yeah, so the first transaction is 15 March.
Okay. I still have an issue because um how would how would somebody assume, because if you take this document without the explanation you're giving, your automatic understanding would be that there is something missing, right?
So when you're searching for transactions on a software like your bank statement,
Yes.
even before transaction, you can search for a period, even if no transaction never existed.
Okay.
So the software is.
All right. Thank you. An Ajib Bank statement dated the 12th of February 2020 is an account which is a Mudaraba investment deposit for the sum of $4 million. There is also attached the statement of account, which is the current account for the Combos and Mails Division KMC Mbalit, which is dated the 20th of June 2022. It covered the period 1st of October 2019 to 9th of October 2019. Also, the current account in GMD maintained at Ajibank for the period 1st of February 2022 to 23rd of March 20, I believe it's 23rd of March 2020, 23rd of March 2020 to the 3rd of February 2022. The next document is the Espas Motors Quantum Net invoice, which is addressed to the Lord Mayor, Kanifing Municipal Council, and it is dated December 27, 2018. And attached to the invoice is the offer of warranty. On manufactured parts for the trucks. And the last document is the Quantum Net Company Limited request for clarification, which is addressed to the Lord Mayor, Canfield Municipal Council. It is dated the 10th of January 2019. It is signed by Mohammed Jah. These documents are admitted together as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC slash KMC slash TAB slash 017.
As the Commission places. Yes, the witness wants to probe the Commission to some uh, issues in the private documents.
Yes, on the issue asked by the lead counsel yesterday about the forced transaction of 4 million, I just wanted to make a correction because I had consulted with the finance manager at KMC. So the 4 million was indeed the fixed deposit. So the bank statement here, the Mudaraba investment deposit account, that's when the 4 million was initially deposited after the contract signage. Now the bank in 30th August deducted 2.5 million when the council was late on payment. The bank deducted from that 4 million, 2.5 million as payment towards the trucks in August 30th. So the letter the CEO wrote to the bank asking for more time is because the bank was asking that the 4 million be replenished. So there was 4 million put there, 2.5 million deducted and transferred towards the payment of the trucks. So the bank is saying, can you replenish the 2.5 million? So the CEO wrote, can you give us more time because we have an unexpected duty payment. So that's the information I got from the finance manager.
Okay, so just a quick question on that. The account that it is paid in, is it a joint account or
So this is it says it's a KMC Mudaraba investment deposit
account? Okay, so it is not entirely in the control of, so the investment account, it is in the name of KMC
KMC.
entire, right? Okay, we will look into it. We'll examine the document and look into it.
We might.
Now, this was in, please give the witness the document back. Which, give us a date exactly, the 4 million, the 2.5 was deducted.
The 2.5 is deducted on 30th August 2019.
Were the trucks delivered at this time? Do we know?
Yes, please.
Did, when was the first, the contract, did it state exactly when the first payment from the WDCs should start?
On the contract, I believe it was from delivery, if I remember, 36 months.
36 months. Okay, it did not state that. It just says manufacturers recommend spare before that. Do you have a copy of the contract there?
With me here, no.
Just to verify whether we have a timeline as to when payment should start.
So it says on price and payment, Article 3, 3.3. Sorry, it's the other contract. Sorry, this is the contract for the 4 trucks, not the Mali trucks.
Okay, I believe in it there may be the contract for the 19, but I'm not sure. There are 2 contracts that should be there.
Okay, okay. I think it's on price and payment, 3.2, payment shall be made in 36 equal monthly installments based on conditions below.
Okay, but we don't have conditions below, do we?
It must have been with them.
No, I mean, it will mean, for instance, if it says 3.2 says that the payment shall be made in 36 equal months, that the 6 equal monthly installments based on the conditions below, usually you will expect that the paragraphs after 3.2 will outline the instrumental payments. Do you see my point?
I see your point, but I remember it was discussed that payment should start after delivery.
Okay, but it's not in the contract.
It's not in the contract, it's implied.
Right. Thank you. Now, how do you reconcile these two? I see the letter from Espas Motors to the CEO of KMC, which signed by Jim Gay, which is suggesting that the account kept is both in the name of KMC and Quantum / Ajib bank account. List.
This is I believe is the control account, the account to operate, to repay the trucks.
Yes. So is it the same with the investment account?
No.
It's different. Okay. Now, I raise this issue because the voucher we have for the 4 million is the supporting documents are letters from Quantum Net, addressed to the CEO of KMC, which reads that please deposit proceeds of the operations of the KMC garbage compactor trucks, skip trucks, and septic emptier in account number 1010100009720 in bracket KMC Wards and Quantum Net / Ajib account. We further authorize Noah Marena and Samba Fai of Ajib Bank to be signatories to the account, together with the acting chief executive officer, finance director of KMC as agreed. Now, it is pursuant to this request that the 4 million was paid.
Yeah, so the 4 million account is here.
Okay.
Is account 9185 is the Mudaraba Investment Deposit Account, Kanifi Municipal Council. That one is the control account for the partnership. That's why both parties are members to ensure that the income comes and goes to the right channel.
Right. So the two 4 millions, are they different? Or is
So
it the same?
the 4 million was put into this account. We'll see.
So what I mean, is this 4 million the same with this, the one you're showing me? Do we know?
Show me the 4 million.
Let me just give you the two. It's the chapter about procurement difference.
This looks like a different transaction.
We will examine, go through the one that you have provided, and then we'll get back to you with that. Now, just one or two questions with respect to this transaction. Do you know whether the council in any form consulted the Ministry of Finance, that is in relation to the PB department, to seek advice regarding this?
I think at some point there was a consultation. I can't remember the outcome.
Do you know whether there is correspondence to that effect?
I remember there was correspondence. I believe so.
Believe so. Okay. Who do we ask? How do we get evidence of that?
The CEO should have copies.
Is that Jaya Chap?
Jaya Chap.
Chap. Okay. Now, in this year, was there a procurement plan?
For 2025?
No, for 2018 or 2019 regarding the trucks. Was it factored in a procurement plan?
2019?
Yes.
I should believe so.
You should believe so. Okay. We don't have copies of the procurement plan for 2019.
No, I don't.
Yes.
So usually we see.
All right. We do not have that, and we want to confirm it. That's one. The other issue is, do you know whether the 19 trucks were part of the procurement plan for 2019?
Yes, because discussions had started in 2018.
18.
So I would assume it's part of the
All right.
contracts committee.
Can you confirm that, Ross?
I can ask this.
Now, we have another issue with respect to
Mayor Bensuda, in the contract agreement, there was the indication that um, let me refer you to Article 1. That is Article 1, sub 1.2, sub 1.3.4, which says that the supplier will maintain the supply of the spare parts without increasing price. Was that respected by the supplier?
Can I see the article you're referring to?
1.3.4.
During the 3-year term, the price of spare parts should not be inflated above the exchange rate fluctuation.
Yes, was that respected?
I would assume so. It's operational.
Can you please check and let us know?
I'll ask the CEO.
Now, my other question is, was the 20% payment, was it done? 20% advance payment, was it done pursuant to the agreement?
I believe the 20% is not in the valid agreement. It's in the other trucks, the sanitation.
The trucks, yes, that is what okay, it's not in the budget. We are looking at, oh, okay, it's at the sanitation, all right. For this agreement for the trucks, there was, aside from the 4 million, there was no advance payment.
Well, the CEO needs to confirm because I'm looking at the bank statements that I just submitted, the ones they just gave me.
Okay.
I saw 4 million fixed deposit and 2.5 withdrawn. But lead counsel has shown another payment of 4 million, which the CEO has.
So you wouldn't know whether there was any advance payment made towards this,
Towards the
towards the trucks, aside from the 4 million, which was
fixed deposit.
fixed deposit
That's what
on
I'm aware.
Modara investment account.
Yes, that's what I'm aware of. But the bank statements are with
Got it. Council, may proceed.
the exhibit you have tendered regarding the letter from Ajib that uh, shows evidence of customization. It reads, thank you for your letter dated the 9th of January 2019. That is addressed to KMC through you. Requesting for clarification the price of the compactor trucks. Please note the following. One, Espas Motors is giving KMC 3 years payment plan. 2, you have 1 year warranty on any manufacturer defective parts for all 19 trucks. 3, Espas Motors will provide protective headlamp covers for all 19 units. 4, Espas Motors will provide a free compactor truck for use by any KMC ward during routine service throughout the financial period. 5, Espas Motors will provide 100 liters fuel free of charge on all 19 trucks. 6, a full compliance service garage is being constructed behind Espas Motors as a measure to provide all required after-sales service without delay. 7, following a visit by our manufacturer representative to the Gambia, a special tire and reinforced shock absorbers have been agreed with the manufacturer for all 19 units. 8, there will be manufacturer trained engineers on site for operations, training, and servicing. 9, special horns mounted on each unit to notify neighborhoods of waste collection. 10, Espas Motors will brand all 19 units from factory to KMC standards. 11. Espas Motors will order special tires of KMC according to need when requested. 12. The compactor body truck has been increased from 16 cbm to 20 cbm, giving each truck more load capacity. 13. The compactor hooper capacity has been increased from 1.2 cbm to 2.5 cbm. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve KMC and the entire community. Now, the question is, this is what they said they will do. Of course, if you are buying, you want to know whether they will have done this, correct?
Yes,
Do we know whether they have done this?
I believe so.
You believe so? Do we have confirmation that they have done it?
Well, based on my knowledge, most of those things are there.
There.
Seeing the trucks.
Okay. Now, how do you think the buyer will know whether the seller had customized the trucks, which would have to be different from the original state of the trucks?
That's the expertise of the procurement unit. They should confirm that.
Good. So there has to be an examination and receipt committee that the CEO should form, for instance, so that they will examine the trucks when they are in receipt of the trucks to see whether the original state of the trucks from the manufacturer has now been modified to suit what the agreement or what they said, the commitment from ESPAS. Do you know whether such a committee was formed?
I believe we discussed this before, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But I believe that's why they traveled also to China.
Right.
Confirm what they were buying.
Yes. So I asked them, they could not provide either. For instance, when ESPAS said, number one, ESPAS Motors is giving KMC 3 years payment plan, that we know is what obtained. Number two, you have 1 year warranty on any manufacturer. Yes. 3, ESPAS Motors will provide protective headlamp covers for all 19 units. We need to confirm that the committee must confirm that that is provided, right? 4, ESPAS Motors will provide a free compactor. Was that drawn? An extra compactor from?
So I think initially it was, but eventually the council decided to buy a more permanent solution, a reserve pro.
Okay, so the answer is no. They did not give KMC a free truck.
Yes, so
Committed.
yeah, so initially they started, but then eventually they could not. So the council met and we decided to buy a reserve truck.
Then they have breached the contract.
Pardon?
Then they have breached their own commitment to the contract.
So this was the offer at the time, but the problem is it was not put into the contract.
Yes, but
This was before they negotiated the.
Yes. But at least we have something in writing on the 10th of January. You recall that they have made several attempts to get KMC to commit themselves in writing, even the repayment. Whenever there is a failure on KMC side to pay, they will write and make sure they have the commitment at some point.
So this was a issue at the council. A lot of the councillors were unhappy about it. There was a push and pull, but eventually what was agreed was we'll have 2 reserve trucks. So we eventually bought 2 reserve trucks.
Okay. My take is the council should have insisted that they provide the one free truck that they said they would provide, because perhaps that may be a reason to convince some people in council as to why they will perhaps vote for or agree that the agreement between the two parties be done.
So I believe this was a contentious issue between the administration and ESPAS.
Yes.
But I cannot recall exactly how it concluded. But eventually, the council voted that for sustainability, it's better that we own our own reserve trucks, because this offer is to lend us one truck during the period. It's not to give it to us for free. It's to allow us to use one truck when there is routine maintenance on other vehicles.
Okay, so it is not clear. Now you are saying this, it brings another argument. It did not also say that KMC should own it, but let me read it again. Espas Motors would provide a free compactor truck for use. by any KMC ward during routine services throughout the finance. Your understanding is it is supposed to be to lend you guys this stuff.
Yeah, during. That's why during services.
During services. Okay. Now, 6, before 6, 5, Espas Motors will provide 100 liters fuel free of charge on all 90 trucks. What does this mean?
It means the truck should come with fuel.
With fuel. Okay. And just one time?
Yes, one time.
Okay. No, we like to be very more clear when it comes to these terms of these contracts, because one can assume it is their responsibility to have 100 liters of fuel, but which will not be logical as well at some point to express as well. Now, have you been servicing the trucks with Espas?
Yes, we serviced the trucks with Espas initially. At some point we switched, and then at some point we did it in-house, and then we are back at Espas. It depends on the magnitude of the issue.
Okay.
So the CEO discretion. Sometimes he believes it's better to service elsewhere.
Very well. I'm sure we'll ask Espas to have the remaining questions. Now, during your time, do you know whether there had been interference in procurement matters?
Interference from who?
From senior management, whether from the office of the mayor, or from the councillors generally, or from people that are outside the contracts committee or the procurement unit.
Not that is reported.
Okay, so I asked this because there's a contracts committee meeting minutes of the 13th of June 2019, where the members in attendance were Jaya Cham, Abdullah Kebe, Dauda Bari, Musa Bah, the deputy mayor, Binta J. Jalo, Sherif Njai, Nima Kamara, Fatumada S. Cham. Now, to start with, who appoints the members of the contracts committee?
It's based on the Finance and Audit Act. So the automatic members, the only two members that are not automatic are the experts and the councillors.
Okay. Now, the procurement.
Sorry, the councillors are prescribed. Sorry, the councillors are automatic. They're prescribed.
All right. Now, the Musa Bah at the time was the deputy mayor.
Yes.
Is he inseparable to you, Musa Bah?
No, he's not.
He's not. So he does not provide you with briefings with respect to the committees that he has served as deputy mayor?
No. The CEO can provide briefings, but the CEO reports to the council on the deliberations of the contracts committee.
Okay. So Musaba, what does he do? He reports to council directly?
So Musaba is a deputy mayor. He gives me briefings on councillors' activities.
Okay.
But that's his position as deputy mayor is not the reason he's sitting at the contracts committee.
Okay. Now, Jaya Cham on 1.3 in the meeting minutes reads, a member observed that in a normal procurement operation where when a department of unit requires goods or services, a proper procedure should be followed by ensuring a request is raised in writing to the CEO, who minutes it to the procurement unit for processing. It was further observed that the reason why this meeting was summoned is to regularize the current trend of interference in the procurement process, which is deemed to be in contravention, it's needs to be in contravenes, but it should be to be in contravention and not in line with the council's financial regulations, and therefore requires urgent intervention of the contracts committee. As such, the committee agreed that henceforth the procurement unit should be given an environment where it will function independently with no interference or whosoever from management. Do you know where this was brought to your attention?
No, that's not brought to my attention. I think Jaja is trying to make sure there's no interference in the procurement, but I don't know what he's referring to.
His claim is that there had been interference in procurement and it should stop. So these minutes of meeting, these concerns, most of these important concerns, do you know whether council is privy to it? Because the committees have to report to General Counsel for matters that are very important.
But he never reported that. So I think he's trying to get his contracts committee to control the procurement.
Very well. Now, the trucks that were procured and the compactors, we have seen evidence of minutes of meetings that suggest that one of the importance is to also to cut expenditure, because you realize council will spend a lot of money, millions of dollars in relation to paying private individuals for dump site clearance and so on and so forth. These illegal dump sites, one of which is Lang Karamu Suare and Sons. Now, do you know whether after the acquisition of um, all these machinery, whether the council continued to engage these private individuals to clear these dump sites?
For the gutter clearing, I believe council continues to engage contractors. We do not have a shovel loader, so I assume there's an illegal dump. They will need to hire a shovel loader.
Yes. So Lankaramu Suare in 2020. Please remind us again, when did you receive the trucks first?
2019, I believe in August or so.
Okay, so we still have Lankaramu Suare being paid money. For instance, 2nd February 2020, it says being cost of plants and gardening materials, this for the verification. Yes, being payment for the hiring of a shovel loader with 2 trucks for the clearing of dump site. This was in 2022, March 11th, 2022. So he was paid an amount of $54,000, and it reads being payment for the hiring of a shovel loader with 2 trucks for the clearing of dump site at LK Iringanya Community Cemetery. You want to see the voucher?
Sure, sure. Yes, I see.
Yes. So you have said that the council does not have a shovel loader. No. But the trucks, by this time, the council of already has purchased trucks already.
Yes, so the trucks we have are compactors. They cannot clear illegal dump sites. We have skip trucks. We have septic MTS. To clear an illegal dump site, you need a shovel loader and an open truck, or we call them dumper trucks.
Open truck.
So in 2023, we purchased 3 dumper trucks.
Okay. So we have again the payments for 9th of February 2022. We have 10th February 2022 for shovel loader and clearing of illegal dump in Carnifin and trucks for transportation of waste to the dump site as per the request. So council still kept on paying for this. Why was this issue not addressed?
Well, bad habits die hard. Some constituents still don't use the service. They just go where they used to. So especially the Ibo Town riverine area, Talinding, Jilifitikunda, Aboko Badala, some residents just find it easier to just go there and dump. So when it accumulates to protect the environment, it's a health hazard. The council has to get a shovel loader and dumper trucks to clear the area. Although it was more prominent before the institution of valid trucks, it reduced drastically after the institution of the valid trucks. But it's a ongoing issue. Recently, the Ministry of Environment even paid a visit, because what happens, especially in the case of Ibo Town, it's there's Alcalo. He's not an official Alcalo, but he uses waste to reclaim land and they sell the land. So it's become a big issue in those areas.
was the question?
Yes, I want to know. You have told us in your evidence that the trucks come together with a skip bin, right?
Yes.
And this skip bin is supposed to be the reservoir for the collection of refuse.
It's strategic.
Yes. So I want to understand the correlation between you having purchased the trucks with the skip bins, and in 2020 you still have to have um, trucks, open trucks, and shovel to collect the waste.
Yeah, so the problem of waste is quite complicated. You have three types of producers. You have the residential producers, you have the commercial producers as well, and medical. Now, in terms of what council was able to solve at the initial stage was majority of the residential and commercial producers, but we were still collecting 70%. Now, 30% of the waste still goes uncollected, meaning it is dumped in drains, in unfinished houses, in abandoned areas or riverine areas. Now, how to tackle that is a two-pronged approach. First, we have to see what are the most utilized illegal dumps. So we only had 8 skips, like we've seen, 8 skips. So we targeted areas in the heart of the community that were being dumped, meaning visible areas. So you have behind Charles Jau, Bundung Jola Kunda, you have Bakau Nene Wale, K Point, Kanifing South, SDA Joshua. Now, still, these are 8 areas, but the amount of places people dump is 40 to 50, especially in the riverine area. So how do we tackle those areas? Is through enforcement on one side and also through clearing. So that's why the council instituted the first ever bylaws and to bring about charges. And that's why we also brought municipal police. So it is a very difficult battle. It is not easy. People, bad habits die hard. As soon as you turn a blind eye, people go and flight it or they dump. So the council realized that, oh, the equipment we have cannot clear illegal dumps because these are compactor trucks and they compress. Illegal dumps are usually mixed with sand. If the compactor truck puts sand into the compressor, it will affect the hydraulics. So that's why we had to get open trucks. Shovel loader we still don't have. Unfortunately, we are looking to get shovel loader next year. And this is all a strategy to reduce the amount of outsourcing because it becomes very expensive. One thing also we don't have is a bulldozer for the dressing of the Bakote dump site because it costs a lot of money. But based on what we are outsourcing over a period, it could be more. So these are all things we are trying to combat.
Councillor, you may proceed.
Now, the in hiring these contractors, it still has to pass through procurement process. Now, the issue of Lankara Musware, he was called here. I'm not sure whether you had a chance to watch his interview. But Mr. Suare doesn't have any machinery in the first place. So what he does is the council will pay him and then he will go and hire the shovel loader and these trucks. See, so the problem that council has is the same problem that Mr. Suare has. So that council will pay more in trying to tackle the problem, which they could have just directly hired from the people that own these machines. I'm not sure whether this was to the council's knowledge.
Yeah, so I think Langsware has been working for the council since before we came.
Right.
He had a relationship with the administration.
Right.
So I believe they thought he's reliable. But I know of two types of contractors that work for the council. One is somebody who owns the equipment, and there's somebody else who coordinates the work.
Right.
So, for example, if you have a work where it's different components, somebody needs to coordinate. So, I would have rather that the unit responsible do that coordination. But these are management decisions. They decide how to outsource these things. But we always advocate for building of internal capacity, both in equipment and manpower.
Yes, because the idea again is to just spend less, and then if you have that capacity and the control staff in that department of services, is it services department that are responsible? Services, yes. So they can monitor these things. That's what they are paid for every month. So that when you hire from a third party, it costs more money for council. I'm not sure whether you guys have discussed this or it has come to your notice, but it costs more money to council. And so it defeats the purpose in trying to solve one problem of the bigger problem, which is the issue of illegal domicile. It is still um, slowly causing council financial losses because the Department of Services should know, and they knew that Mr. Kamo Suare does not have any machine, and then so that it costs you a lot more to get these things done.
Yeah, so it's under the operations, under the purview of the CEO. If it was me, I would be on the ground. I will coordinate the trucks, but they use their judgment as to what they believe is more effective.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Another issue is that when services are done, the requirements are that there should be evidence of execution, that is job completion certificate. So that's another problem we had. We interviewed um, all of the people concerned. We realized that so we see money being paid and we don't see evidence of service is executed, so that you do not know whether the money that was withdrawn from the council's account said to have been paid to um, a contractor. Let's say in the case of Lankar Moswara, we'll take him as an example. There are so many that when they said, for instance, shovel loader with trucks for declaring and transportation of authorized dump site at Bakote, you see the amount is $198,000. But when you look at the voucher, you would not see any evidence of job completion certificate. Let us just take this one for example, so that you can, as an example, so that you can see what I'm trying to discuss.
yeah.
Yes, so you will notice that there are no um, job completion certificate. We have asked the director of services and also Lankaramo. He had confirmed that for the most part, he is not issued with a job completion certificate. And so you will agree with me that council then would not have evidence of execution of the work that is paid for.
Yeah, so the procedure is already there because I've heard of it many times.
Right.
The requesting unit should give a confirmation to the procurement unit before final payment. So if that's not done, I believe the procurement officer should come to answer, or the officers that are paying, because the finance director should check, the CEO should check, and then of course the internal audit should check.
Exactly. So these are loopholes that, for instance, if the finance director and the CEO, when they sign these checks, and then it's easy for them to just raise a voucher. We have seen in the case of the road in is it Talinding Sikap that we discussed that voucher where it was copied about 3-4 times. I thought it was 3, told about 4 payments. That if it is a fraudulent practice, for instance, you will realize that it's going to be difficult for council to know, and monies would have been spent on fictitious exercises that perhaps would have been avoided. Right now, the other issue is the accounts that were opened with respect to um, the the $3 million, 3 million euros. There were accounts that were opened with EcoBank. Now, when you want to open an account, what procedure do you follow as council to open accounts?
If council wants to open an account,
Yes.
we come usually to the general body for permission.
Okay. And who would be the signatories to this account?
For council's regular accounts, the CEO and the Director of Finance.
Are there other accounts that council may hold that will not be the regular accounts that other signatories may be appointed?
It depends on the context and the scenario.
Because the Dallas account in managing the 3 million euros, we see there were private individuals, right? That were not ordinary council employees, and or they don't hold the office of the CEO or finance director. Let me show you the correspondence dated the 11th of May 2022 from KMC addressed to the managing director Eco Bank Gambia Limited, signed by Kajal Jan. Please do kindly read that letter first.
The letter dated 11 May 2022, Managing Director EcoBank, from CEO and Deputy Director of Finance, request for change of signatures mandate. With reference to the above, approval has been granted for change in signature mandate for KMC CAP project account to enable smooth running of the project operations. In this regard, the current signatories to the account are Mr. Aliu Sambanyang, Project Director of CAP, Mr. Kajali Jane, Deputy CEO, Mr. Bakari Diba, Finance Officer, Mr. Lamin Sanyang, Project Manager.
Yes, so who authorized that change of signature?
It seems like the CEO and the Director of Finance.
Okay, where do they get that authorization? Or
they would have to come through the Finance Committee or the Council, but I can't recall exactly.
You can't recall. Now, was this discussed at Council? Do you know, or you can recall as well?
I cannot recall the specific details. So
okay. Now, the letter was sent to the bank. Does the deputy CEO and is it the finance manager? And the finance manager, right?
This is the deputy CEO who was acting CEO at the time.
Right.
And the deputy director of finance who was acting director of finance at the time.
And who do they suggest that would be the signatories to the account?
They suggest the CEO would be there.
Deputy CEO.
Sorry, the deputy CEO would be there. And the finance manager. The finance manager was also working in the CAP project.
Okay. Who else is there?
The project director, Ali Unyang, and the project manager, Lamin Sanyang, who's also the director of service of KMC.
All right. Now, this was done. Why? By this time, the CEO, you don't have a substantive CEO.
No, we have an acting CEO.
Okay. And you don't have a substantive finance director. Good. Now, I was trying to find out the authority that the finance director or finance manager and the deputy CEO have in relation to instructing the bank to change signatures. Can you guide us?
You mean the CEO and the director of finance?
No, the deputy CEO And the finance manager, they wrote the letter to the bank.
No, it's not the finance manager, it's the director of finance, Sirif Njai.
Okay, let me see. Is Sheriff the finance manager or finance director?
Finance director.
Acting, yes. The acting, if the Sheriff is acting, Sheriff is not the finance, was never appointed as finance director, was he?
No, Sirif was the acting finance director
Right.
in 2018,
Yes.
2019.
Right.
And then temporarily, he returned as the deputy director of finance.
Right.
And then after he returned as the acting finance.
So at no time did he hold the position of finance director, Simplicita?
No.
Okay. And also, Kajali, at no point did he hold the office of the chief executive officer, Simplicita?
The substantive position.
Yes. Okay. Now, in their acting capacity, do they have the right to instruct the bank to change signatories?
Yes, because the council gives them the authority over the accounts.
Okay.
Now, when they want to change, when they want to add or change signatories, it has to be with the council.
Okay.
Now, the project was already adopted by the council with the knowledge of a project officer and project office with a project director that they would execute the project. So at their level, operationally, I guess they were changing authority levels because of time issues.
Okay. Now, when council gave them the authority to act, where do you think council derive that authority to instruct the deputy CEO and the deputy finance director or acting CEO and acting finance director to be signatories or instruct change of signatories?
I believe council has that authority.
I don't doubt that. I just want to be guided so that the commission will be guided as to where the authority is derived from.
Well, there's no substantive position holder. So the deputy director of finance is the deputy of the CEO. In their absence, they act as a CEO. Sorry, the deputy CEO.
Right.
The director of finance, in his absence, the deputy director of finance acts in their capacity.
Okay, my question is in line with the local government finance. I think it has addressed the issue with respect to who signs what, right? Section 13 sub 2. Do you have a copy? Sure. Sub 3, sorry.
This is the local government act or the finance audit act?
The Local Government Finance and Audit Act 2004, section 13 sub 3. The functions of council.
Section 13 page of the local government finance audit act, right?
Yes, yes, 13 sub 3. It reads, the chief is under appropriation of funds. The chief executive and director of finance of the council shall be the signatories to all accounts of council. And in the absence of any of them, the director of administration shall be an alternative signatory. Now, you will see that it did not provide for any other individual to be signatories of this account. Just the CEO and the finance director. And where it provided for a space for alternative signature, it says the director of administration. That's why I'm asking to know as to what council relied on in authorizing individuals outside this a bracket in signing or yes.
So the CEO has a deputy CEO, the director of finance has a deputy director of finance. In their absence, they step in. In the case where the CEO is usually absent or the director of finance, if either or are absent, the director of administration can step in. If both of them are absent, the deputy step in.
Okay, but what is the legal justification? I know that it is not as look, the law has bestowed this authority directly to the to these individuals, just giving them a delegated authority. Now we know that when the law delegates your authority, you cannot sub-delegate that. Now, if you say that based on the deputy role, that is why they are signing the checks. When the Act 2004 is very clear as to who signs check. Now, how would we be guided, the commission be guided to say it is in relation to this section or the functions of the council in this particular paragraph that authorizes that in their absence, their deputies will sign checks.
Yeah, so I think laws are rigid, but there's the gray area of the law, and this is one of those gray areas. The CEO, of course, is deputized. The director of finance is deputized. The director of admin is in place. For example, right now, our CEO has traveled. The deputy admin steps in. But in the case there's more absentees, there can be sickness, they can be like in our case, administrative leaves. The council has to operate so that judgment is left to the general body, and we made that judgment call.
Yes, so I'm not saying that let's assume that should be the best way. That when you have a deputy CEO, the signatures in the absence of the deputy CEO should be in the absence of the CEO, the deputy should step in and sign. In fact, when I saw this, I thought had said I'd mark it for a recommendation that where the CEO is absent, maybe the deputy should sign for. And where the finance director is absent, maybe the deputy should sign for him. But that's not what the law says. That's what I thought should happen, but that's not what the law says. The law is saying something very clear and very explicit that only these three are mandated to sign the checks. So if someone is outside these three signing checks, then it would not be proper.
So the chief executive is an office with two leaders, the CEO and the deputy. And the deputy is in place to act on behalf of the CEO if the CEO is unable to. Same with the director of finance. So I believe it's well within the parameters of the.
All right. Now, the other individuals that were mandated to sign.
So, like I've said, this is a project account.
Right.
It's a project from the EU.
Right.
So the modalities and the arrangement is as such that the council is required to have a project office. So the implementers are the project director and the project manager. So this is an issue that was discussed in the council, and just like here, raging debates about what the arrangement should be. So I believe at the end of the day, the agreement between the parties is that they co-manage the accounts.
Right. But again, another issue comes up wherein, if you look at that, it says all accounts of council, right? It does not segregate or exclude any accounts of council. That's number one. And if you look at the revenues of council, like we discussed initially, grants of every kind, loans of every kind, you name it, whether from government or from any other institution. These monies are exclusively revenues of council, section 4, exclusive revenues of council, where if I can read section 4, sub 2, paragraph G, it says project funds. donations and grants. And then all these monies are monies of council, so that even if that is what another entity wants, that will be contrary to what the law says. And more so, 13 tells you to manage all accounts of council. So what would be the justification? The going by the documents that are binding to council, what would be the justification that you will rely on to say, well, based on this particular provision or so, we had allowed the manager, the project manager and others to sign checks and manage accounts.
Okay, I believe we discussed this a few days ago. So the source of funding is outside body. They can determine how they want that funding to be implemented. Some can believe that the council is trusted and capable, and they give the funds to the council or based on their rules and parameters. Some can believe that no, they want a project office to be set up independent from the council. And some can say they will implement directly. So we've seen all these types of grants. It's not for the council to decide. Now, if the law is so rigid, like you're saying, I believe that's why there's the issue of courts and context. And the context is that the greater good is that these projects are implemented, is donor money. And if a law says, okay, all the monies have to come, but the donor agency say, no, I cannot give you to implement, then you have to act accordingly. So, for example, in the BMC project, it was fully implemented by a third party, not the council. The University Essex project that is going on right now from Funds Innovation Development, the 30 million project, they actually brought an expert in-house in KMC, who's the sole signatory to the account with the CEO, because they want to control how that funds are implemented. So it's a decision of the donor.
So when the donor wants to be a signatory to an account and the law says otherwise, which should supersede?
Well, in this context, like I said, the donor has to supersede
The law.
Well, like I said, there's gray areas of the law, and that's why context is very important.
It's not gray. It's very clear. No, it's not gray. It cannot be gray because as undesirable as it may be, again, the law we interpret do not necessarily mean we agree with every text of the law. Sometimes we ourselves do not even agree with it. Understand that? But it remains to be the law. No, we can't like it um, um, in its entirety sometimes. Yeah, even the drafters of the law at Parliament, there will be some that will not agree with certain things, but that's why there is voting or so on and so forth. Now, the issue here is there may be rigidity based on circumstance. There may be circumstances where the law refuses to be flexible, but that remains to be the law. So that what the donor wants, if it contravenes, you have always been saying that anything the law becomes supreme. So what the donor wants, if it contravenes any provisions of the law, we can't go by the donor's position. We have to maintain what the law says.
So, are you suggesting we return the money?
Yes. If that is what the donor is saying. If the donor is saying that unless and until you allow me to have a signature power, then and that contravenes the law, you wouldn't want to violate the law, will you?
I think what needs is the law needs to be evolved and amended rather than return vital money that can be helped to develop.
100%.
So, like I said, that's why these things should be, I guess that's why we're all here.
Right.
To see what sort of positive things we can bring.
Right.
But these are one of those issues. Gambia is a donor-based economy. We receive a lot of donor aid, central government more than local government. What we are doing is unprecedented, actually, receiving all this donor aid. But definitely, it's up to the people giving the money, for the most part, who dictate. We push back as much as we can, but they say, no, this is how we want it, and this is based on our rules, and then that's how we accept it.
Did you seek advice from in this position? as to the shifting of these signatories, which is clear in with respect to the act. Let's say, for instance, Ministry of Finance or your line ministry, to see whether it is advisable to do what they do know is.
Not to my knowledge that we sought advice, but the council also has judgment. We discuss, we deliberate, we debate. Some hold your position, but at the end of the day, we vote on the position we want to take.
Yes, but
The mayor. Is it your opinion that elected public officials should have discussion not to allow for the compliance of the law when it comes to particularly financial transactions? Is it your opinion?
So my opinion is we make decisions on good faith to the
No,
best.
no. Answer the question. Is it your opinion that elected public officials should have discussion to execute or to uh, conduct matters not in compliance with law? And what we are dealing with here right now is Section 13 of the Finance and Audit Act. I said, is it your opinion? Because as has been said, the CEO and the finance director and the admin are supposed to be signatories, and others have been co-opted to sign, and it's not in compliance with the law. You agree with that, is it not?
Well,
You don't agree that it is not.
Ask a lawyer.
So you don't agree that it is not in compliance with the law.
I wouldn't know. I would need a legal expert to guide me.
Yes. So, but now that is legal. Now, your opinion, would it be correct for elected public officials to circumvent the law on the altar of convenience and interest? I'm asking you now your opinion.
Elected officials should not circumvent the law. We should protect the law.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Lord Mayor, the law is the law. I think we had these issues when we were at the National Assembly. Anytime the accounts of the central bank comes in, the auditors qualify the accounts. Now, the reason was they are not using the international financial reporting system. So they qualify the accounts. But the central bank will always argue that we have an act and we cannot go against our act, even if the accounts are qualified. So these things do happen. The other thing that I think you left was about the waste. You talked about domestic, commercial, medical. You left out industrial. So industrial waste too is what also you collect. So it should be captured. Thank you.
thank you very much. Now, the why? Um, how did Kajali? How was he appointed or promoted to the position of deputy CEO?
Kajani Jani was appointed by the Local Government Service Commission as a deputy CEO, and then he was um, promoted by the council as an acting CEO during our crisis.
Your crisis with Senator Martin Soko.
Yes.
And Sheriff Jai, the same thing?
Yes.
Sheriff was the finance manager.
He was the acting finance, so he was the deputy director of finance.
Okay. Now, council promoted them to the position of acting. Does council have those powers?
We did not use the word promotion. We had them act.
How did you have them act?
Through council resolution.
So does the council have the power?
To have the CEO, the deputy director of finance and CEO.
Yes,
I would have to find the exact wording that we used, but I believe they stepped into those roles.
Yes, so we will wait for the resolution. But does council have the authority to either promote people to the position of CEO or get them to act CEO without the approval of the commission?
Like I said, we have to find the exact wording, but I will also refer to you to the Supreme Court ruling that lamented that councils have high degree of autonomy
Right.
and self-determination,
Mhm.
and the actions of the ministry
Yes.
interfering with the council was
Right.
wrong,
Right.
and we are well within our rights to make those changes.
No, the judgment didn't say that. I think if you have it, I've read the judgment. The judgment, what it said, to the best of my recollection, is in relation to the reporting mechanisms, the demand that the ministry had placed on all councils that communications must pass through the permanent secretary. That was wrong. There was no law that stated that. And so it was very clear that the autonomy of council is very clear, and it legitimizes the service commission, that they are the authority that should address issues of council within their mandate, and not the ministry in relation to the mandate communications passed to the permanent secretary. That was gross. We agreed on that. But for the issue of promotions, is squarely within the powers of the commission.
So, like I said, I will have to get both the resolution. I don't think the words promotion were used.
Right.
And I'll have to go back to the
Judgment.
Supreme Court judgment
We-
because I believe it covered
Go, please proceed.
and that. And also, just to bring to the attention of the commission,
Right.
chairperson, I think this matter also is in court and is in the High Court. There were two cases. One was in the Supreme Court and the other is in the High Court. The Supreme Court ruled, but also pending the outcome of the judgment at the High Court. Just to bring it to your attention.
Okay. You want us to give you time to refer us to a specific judgment?
Yes, I would like to go study the judgment
Right.
and also the resolutions that were corresponding.
Right. Okay. We can do that. Chair.
Yes, I have, sorry to bring you back, but then having looked at the annual budget for 2019, I just want to find out, end 2019, how much was paid in total to Espas Motors as their there was no specificity as to what is to be expected to be paid at the end of the month. That is one issue. And the fact that, you understand, I couldn't see that being captured in the 2019 budget. My question now is the expenditures made pursuant to servicing the loan, did this not have an impact on your other projects?
So we paid, we were supposed to pay 36 equal installment.
Yes.
But I recall,
At what sum? At what?
I think it's the total amount divided by 36. The 105 million
Million.
divided by 36.
All right.
So in 36 monthly installments. So I believe
So how much would that be for monthly
I need a
installment?
calculator. But 105 million, 36, maybe 2.5 a month, something like
2.5.
something like.
Yes. But if you agree with me that that is not captured in your capital expenditure in your 2019 budget.
So I was asked this yesterday.
Yes.
I asked the then CEO because the charges should have budget lines. What budget line?
Yes,
the
that's
charges?
budget head 801. That's capital expenditure as per what is contained in your budget.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we
It's-
have the
yeah.
budget?
Please give him the budget. It's here.
Also, on your second question,
Yes.
2019, I believe we were late on the agreement.
Yeah.
That's why they charged the fix.
Yes, we have seen that end 2019 December, there were no funds coming pursuant to collections.
Yes, because
Yeah.
in operations.
If you look at capital expenditure,
If you look at capital expenditure,
Yeah.
page 35, on the waste management, you will see one septic emptier, 16,000 liters, 4.5 million, three compactors, 12 million, waste collection vehicles, tipper trucks, five tractors,
Yes.
12.6 million.
Yes, I've seen that.
It's charged from that budget.
Yes, it's charged from that, but this is specific. This is not in relation to the 19 trucks.
Yes, but the 19 trucks were paid for in 3 years.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I said this the expenses in the 2019 budget did not reflect the revenue that was being collected and paid to Espas Motors because it's not captured in the budget 2019. Because this is a different estimation, which is not the 19 trucks.
So when this budget was created, we submit our budget by September 30th of every year.
Yes.
So when this budget was submitted, the project was not conceived.
Yes.
Because we were thinking of buying waste management equipment.
Exactly.
So once the project is conceived, then that budget line can change in description. The finance committee can now change that budget line in description. Now, as
did you have evidence of changing this budget line?
So that should be checked with the finance committee.
So please check that.
They've charged the waste management fixed assets.
Yes, but there is no supplementary budget being made to that effect.
I believe the amount they paid is within the cost. Now the description is what needed amendment.
So please provide us with evidence to that. Council, you may proceed. Oh, yes, before I hand you over to Council, there is a $1 million startup loan pursuant to Exhibit 014, which talks about council giving the wards 1 million. But when you look at the budget estimates, as per the minutes of that meeting, they said the council will give 1 million. Was that done? A startup loan.
So I was reading the minutes this morning, the debate at the Waste Ward Committee.
Yes, was the 1 million given?
I cannot recall that.
So please help us find out, because there is 1 million that was agreed upon the minutes, and then in the budget it was 1.5. It's here.
Yes, so the minutes I have read this morning, there was 1 million.
Yes.
And then I saw somebody corrected with handwriting. 1 point.
And also, when you go to the budget, it is no longer 1 million, it is 1.5 million.
Yes.
So please help us find out. Thank you. Continue, please.
Thank you very much. So we had we are discussing the issue regarding the issue with the permanent secretary, Minister of Lands, and the judgment. Of course, you can always come back with either advice, or if you have a lawyer that wants to perhaps aid the commission in what the judgment is all about, will also appreciate that. But from my understanding, we have the judgment between Kanfu Municipal Council, the case, Supreme Court, the case and judgment, civil number SC 001 of 2023, between KMC, the plaintiff, and Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, first defendant, Inspector General of Police, the second defendant, and Attorney General, the third defendant. Now, you go to 93, that's on page 37 of the judgment. It says, let me read. Considering the functions of the powers of the Commission under the Local Government Act, Cap 3301, the picture might well have been different if it were indicated from the inception of the disagreement between the plaintiff and the first defendant, that is the ministry. In fact, the first defendant only needed to step back and allow the Commission to function as stipulated in the Act, without prejudice to the first defendant carrying out its monitoring and supervisory role as contemplated in Section 149 of the same Act. Furthermore, the first defendant has in the considered view of this court, sufficient powers in section 150 and 151 of the Act to ensure good governance, that is the ministry, without interposing itself between the plaintiff and the commission and resorting to the use of force to compel its opinion on the action taken by the plaintiff, that's KMC, against the CEO and other senior officers concerned, right? So they can't force you guys. That's the ministry. Now, 94, the plaintiff has specifically sought the intervention of the court to declare that the commission is an independent body, which is not subject to the direction or control of the first defendant. And therefore, the failure of the first defendant to forward the plaintiff's correspondence to the commission amounts to a violation of section 193 in bracket 1 of the Constitution. The court observes that the interpretation or meaning of subsection of section 119 of the Local Government Act, Cap 3301, regarding the independence of the commission is not an issue in this matter, as both parties agree on the tenor of that section. While the failure of the first defendant to forward the plaintiff's correspondence to the commission may be described as constituting direct interference with the commission's independence, that failure in itself, as between the commission and the first defendant, is not necessarily an interference with the plaintiff's high degree of autonomy granted under section 193 sub 1 of the Constitution. It is simply a violation of section 119 of the Act. In that context, therefore, the court doesn't consider it appropriate in this matter to tie the violation of the provisions of the Act by the first defendant to the interpretation of section 1931 of the Constitution. Consequently, this court finds the actions of the first defendant, that is the ministry, in causing the second defendant to enter the plaintiff's premises in the absence of the law. That's in another aspect. That is your fracas, where there was an issue between the two. So, unless there is another part, this is very clear. When I read it, it's clearly saying that whilst you were arguing that there was interference in demanding that correspondences be passed through the permanent secretary's office, that violates the law, and that it reaffirms the powers of the commission, so that the powers of the commission as per its mandate, its instrument, remains the same, and so that the ministry still holds the powers to govern without imposing itself and forcing you guys in relation to things that they don't have the power to do. And so that is what the judgment says. So, but if you have a different interpretation, or you can seek advice as well to come back, either by yourself or someone who can explain it better to the commission. That is our understanding of the judgment.
So I will consult.
All right. Now, who has the powers to employ or hire the services of a CEO or finance director in local government context?
The Service Commission in consultation with the mayor.
Good. Now, when you wanted to either promote, you will find out the warning, elevate as the case may be, or get Kajali or Sheriff to act, did you consult the Service Commission?
The Service Commission was incommunicado. The ministry was not allowing the Service Commission to work with the council. The letter we forwarded to them was July 2021. They did not respond until January 2023. That's 2 years after.
Yes.
And after that, then the Supreme Court made a ruling that the ministry's actions were illegal.
Of course.
So basically, the commission was not functional. We wrote several letters. They don't respond, and the ministry tells us they are not going to respond to us.
Okay, we understand that. But do we have a letter that also attempt to get the Service Commission to point someone?
I will search for those letters. But the ministry at some point wrote to all councils and said all the letters for the Service Commission
Yes,
be written to the ministry.
we have seen that.
So we wrote those letters to the ministry, but I'll find the exact
Yes.
letter to submit it to the.
Okay. Okay. But more particularly, we have seen evidence of that. The communications from the ministry. We have dealt with this with the permanent secretary. I have reminded you of that. But I just want to just clear that part, whether there was specific letter with respect to now that you have either suspended Senabo and the finance director, whether there was an attempt, official attempt, to get the office occupied.
So to correct the record, we did not suspend them because at first that's the language we used. The ministry said that's the wrong language because that means disciplinary action.
Right.
So we adjusted and said administrative leave with full pay until such a time the commission acted. But in the case of the deputies, which is the deputy CEO and the deputy director of finance, in line with regular council operation,
Right.
whenever the CEO or director of finance are absent, these individuals take up those roles.
Now, we will wait for those correspondences. We also have some, but how do you divorce the two, administrative leave and suspension? What would be the difference in this context?
Well, suspension, according to ministry, was a disciplinary action.
Yes.
Because then they can go with half pay or they can go with suspension with pay without allowances.
Right.
So I remember the minister asked that we restore their full salaries.
Right.
And then our lawyer advised the right course of action was administrative leave.
Okay. Administrative leave, where will that fall?
Under the council's ability to direct the CEO and control the CEO.
No, but the argument would have been the CEO is directly under the control of the commission when it comes to appointments and disciplinary actions. If you look at section 37 itself, it talks about the powers of the establishment committee. For instance, if I read it of the Local Government Act, it says the establishment committee shall, subject to this act and any other enactment, be responsible for recommending to its local government service commission the appointment, dismissal, conditions of service, and discipline of officers and other employees of council and any matter connected therewith. So this to me is clear. And all the establishment committee can do is to recommend. Now, if the council is to go ahead and recommend administrative leave, what would be the justification?
Like I've said, the CEO is under the direction and control of the council.
Right.
It's in the section under the CEO.
Right.
So we can direct the CEO to go on administrative leave. We can direct the CEO to not come to work. That is well within the remit.
Can we revisit that? Can you get us through that?
The section under the CEO, under the Local Government Act.
Right.
Section 42.
Yes. Please read it.
Chief, section 42. Okay, sorry, section 43.
Yes.
Functions of the chief executive.
Right.
The chief executive shall manage the affairs of the council and shall be answerable to the council and be subject to its direction and control.
Under his or her functions. Do you see that? Under his or her functions. In executing his functions, then there is where that is the point he or she is under the under the directive and control of council.
But the CEO only exists to execute their functions.
I agree.
I think this is very clear, very explicit.
Right.
Based on the legal advice we've got, based on also like I said, I'll go back to the Supreme Court judgment.
Right.
It is well within the power of the council to direct or control the CEO who's answerable to them. Now, the minister at that point said, well, this is not about direction or control, this is discipline. So that does not fall under you. Then we went back and we said, okay, you're right, minister, we adjusted. send them on administrative leave with full benefits and salary until such a time the local government service commission could operate because the situation was not conducive.
There was a problem.
Yes.
There was a problem. And there was fault from both sides, the permanent secretary and the KMC. That's why I said yesterday, perhaps take time and watch the examination or the interview with the permanent secretary. You would realize that there was significant problem. At some point, I even told the permanent secretary, you guys made it a political issue. At some point, if I can recollect well, that it was almost as in who wins here and there, and that should not be the issue. The elephants fight, the grass suffers. That's the point. So if you the issue of employment and the issues of disciplinary actions are very clear in the law. And you ask any lawyer, they don't even have to be very good. They will tell you that where you have a general provision and where you have a specific provision addressing an issue, that one prevails. Now you can reconfirm that and get somebody as well to reconfirm that. But this is talking about the functions of the CEO. Then you have another section specifically on the issue of employment, disciplinary actions, and so on and so forth. That is where the institution should be guided, not the general provision just talks about functions of the CEO, right? So that when you suspend and they said you cannot suspend because they are doing it in their governance structure, fine. But when you now, our problem was instead of the permanent secretary and the Minister of Lands looking at the substance of your complaint, KMC's complaint against Senator Martins and the finance director, who we thought here that they failed to address that. And they did not address that. They were so particular about the inadequacies of the route you've taken rather than the main issue, which is the issue regarding the alleged fraud issue of Senator Martins and finance director. There were concerns, genuine concerns raised. You understand that? So that is one issue which is true, that they did not prioritize your complaint. And they should have prioritized your complaint. And in doing so, they now tell you, but then you did not do the right thing. Next time, please do the right thing. And to force you to send the communications to them would also have been wrong. But there was a bigger complaint of fraud. So that should not be on political lines. They should be treated. They should have just done their job in that aspect, right? That is the position. That's what we told the permanent secretary. It is clear. But now having that fracas, you guys also made a mistake based on our opinion, because you guys sent the CEO and the finance director on administrative leave when we cannot find anywhere expressly giving you powers to do that.
So I agree with you and I disagree with you as well at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe the issue was.
You have to agree. If you agree, you agree. If you disagree, you disagree. So
Well,
what
some points I agree with, some points I disagree with.
you highlight the points that you agree,
Yes.
and then you go to the points that you disagree.
Yes. So definitely, it was turned into a big political issue. It was also wrong that for many years they withheld letters for the Service Commission, rendering them ineffective. At some point, we even asked them why is the Director of Governance acting as a secretary for the Service Commission, which makes them not independent. Also, how come they don't have their own office? Why are they housed under the ministry, which also makes them not independent? Also, I agree in the instance where you say the ministry should have dealt with the substance of the issue. I believe it would not have even come to this to allow the Service Commission, in their good judgment, to look at both sides and make a decision. That took 3 years and caused a lot of unnecessary chaos and disruption. Where I say I don't agree, because at first we said yes, we will suspend. The ministry wrote back And the minister personally called me and said, you don't have the right to suspend the workers. These are under the local government service. Then I sought legal advice and I was told, yes, that's true, but you can have power to send on administrative leave because indeed they're under your direction and control.
Before you proceed, is it your opinion that pursuant to Section 43, which is the functions of the CEO, subsection 1, this is what gave you the authority to suspend the CEO and the the other person? Who is the other person that you suspended?
Director of Finance?
Director of Finance?
No, we did not suspend them. We sent them.
No, sorry. So, in your opinion, were you relying on Section 43(1) as your powers through the council to send them on administrative leave?
No, not my opinion, based on legal advice and the deliberation of the council.
Was that legal advice written?
No, it was through communication.
Oral communication.
Oral communication.
So now, your opinion. In your opinion, do you think that the council was right in relying on Section 43(1) to send the CEO and the finance on administrative leave?
So I'm not a lawyer. That's why I asked the lawyer, because the ministry had raised.
And the lawyer said
Yeah.
the council has a right pursuant to this section.
Yes.
All right. That is clear. Council, you may proceed.
Now, the issue regarding the advice in relation to sending administrative leave, is it specifically mentioned in Section 43, or is it just implied in Section 43(1)?
Section 43(1) is broad, but it, like I said, the council looks at the laws, asks for legal advice, and if we are advised that our decision falls within the remits of that law, we take it. So we were advised that administrative leave falls within the remits of direction and control.
Okay, but I'm just asking whether when you read it, you will see it specifically mentioned, or it is what is deduced from the wordings. Implied.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the terms direction, control, answerable are quite unambiguous. They are very straightforward.
No, see, again, at no fault of yours, definitely, if you've had legal advice, then you've acted on the legal advice, and then perhaps for whatever reason, the words were stretched to mean you can suspend, you can, or you can not suspend, you can send on administrative leave, but that would be cross interpretation. So that would be cross interpretation because, like I said earlier, let's assume you don't have a section specifically addressing these issues. Then the interpretation, no matter how gross, can be subjective, can be subject to, argument, and perhaps the courts may draw their interpretation,
Exactly.
right? But where you have a section that is very much expressed in relation to these actions, I tell you, in no uncertain terms, that it has been litigated upon several times, and the courts have maintained their position that if you have these two set of laws, one speaking in general terms and one speaking in specific terms, we always go by the specific terms. That is not even an issue when it comes to lawyers, an issue of debate anymore. It's already settled. When they say a settled law, that's one of them.
Yeah, so I think this dispute has been going on for so long. There's so many different varying opinions, and I believe right now it's at the High Court. That's why we are all eagerly. I don't know why it took so long, but we were all eagerly awaiting for the judgment to know who is falling within the remits of the law and who's not.
That's fine. Now they have been sent on administrative leave by council.
Yes.
be it as it may, the opinion here is totally wrong, 100% wrong. Now, before I proceed with the next question, when you did you seek a second opinion from the Minister of Justice to see whether that is the correct position of the law?
This is our council lawyer. We don't seek legal opinion from Ministry of Justice.
You did once you do the contract.
In regard to procurement, but
Right.
usually on council operations, on day to day, we rely on our lawyer's advice because we trust our lawyer. And in this case, because the Ministry of Local Government is the one we have the issue with, at that point, there was no reason for us to trust the Ministry of Justice.
Now, the issue regarding the sending them to on administrative leave, it's already done. Whether wrong or right is in your opinion, you were doing the right thing at the time because you have asked your lawyer and you were advised, right? I thought Mr. Ngol was wrong, 100% wrong. But the issue with respect to now the appointment, right? Now you have appointments or promotion, as the case maybe you may call it, or the language that you will come up with at any point. Now you have their deputies assuming their roles, and then their functions. Again, the power to do that, where do we get that?
So it's like when I travel as Lord Mayor, the deputy mayor becomes the Lord Mayor,
Right,
and I'm incapacitated.
right.
So it's the same, basically, routine.
That is stated in the
Yeah.
in the act. Your case is expressly stated in the act.
I think it goes without saying, it's implied. Because I think the issue here, KMC is the only council, to my knowledge, or one of, with a deputy CEO and a director of finance. So I believe it's an issue with structure of the council, but where there's a deputy, it is of course implied that they serve as the substantive position holder.
Yes,
The council, can I just ask something of the chair?
please.
My call is in 15 minutes or so. I was asking permission if I can.
Kindly round of what you're saying, and then we can give you to proceed. You were saying something? Can you conclude on what you were saying?
No, I believe I already answered.
You answered it. So we will rise, and are we coming back?
No, we need to know if we're coming back on Monday with the witness.
Yes.
We have one or two issues to.
You have another witness?
No, I mean we have one or two issues with the witness, so that we complete with him to say that he is coming back on Monday and really good.
Yes, he is coming back on Monday because we cannot determine when he is done with his
Yes.
conference call.
Yes,
So
so
we
we need that
Yes.
pronunciation.
No, now I am asking whether we are proceeding after 1 o'clock the break.
Yes, we have one witness that we need to hear.
So you may rise.
So Monday. Thank you.
See you on.